Hello, welcome to episode 191 on the Online Trainers podcast. Today's topic is mastering influence.
Hello and welcome to the Online Trainers podcast, where we go behind the scenes to uncover the latest tactics and strategies top trainers around the world are using to get more clients, dominate their marketplace, and get their clients amazing results. There is absolutely no fluff here. I'm your host, Lynn Trin.
Now, welcome back. Over the last few days, we have gone through the Success Series. And the Success Series was really put together to answer a bunch of questions that keep coming up inside of my community, inside of my inbox, but more importantly, keep coming up because I hear the stories of so many coaches who have struggled to build an online business, so many coaches who have gone off to other business mentors, hired them, and they've really been left in the dark. And you know, it's not so much a bad thing. I was having a conversation last night with a fellow coming on to the 100K club coaching program that we run. And I was having a conversation with him, and basically he had told me that he tried other mentors and he was out. It was completely broke. And it's unfortunate that I get all the broke people. But most people come to me when they realize that, holy crap, Lynn, like I can no longer try to find the easy way. I can no longer try to be a person behind closed doors trying to market and run my business. Not in today's day and age anyway. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you'll almost step up to succeed. And why I say almost is because success is quite simple. Success is you having a roadmap to where you want to be and then you building out the infrastructure around that. Now, yesterday I had a conversation with this guy and he seemed as though he'd gotten into a, bad car accident, right? He'd spent $5,000 on this person here in Australia and, just didn't get what he expected. But more importantly, I think most people are led to believe that they can build a six-figure business, let alone a seven-figure business. But that's completely another topic, right? Most trainers are led to believe that they can build a six-figure online business in like 3 easy steps. And the steps that these coaches will give you is go out there, generate leads, go and run an ad to a woohoo form and an opt-in page, and then cold call your leads. And I have to say, I've been down that road before. It was, 2014 when I did that. And I remember getting 300 leads into my inbox. And I remember spending the whole day. And it was quite funny because I would try to enjoy it. As Tony Robbins says, I'd be sunbaking in my backyard, at my parents' rental home. I'd be sunbaking. I'd be doing sales calls half naked, right? I tried my very best to enjoy it. And I remember at that time, it was feeling like a sense of being stuck on a hamster wheel. I kept doing the same thing over and over again. And yes, we would celebrate the wins and we'd celebrate the sales. And a day I'd make 2 to 3 sales. And that was $3,000 in contracted payments in a day. And that was great because technically I was on track to make what they would say $150,000 a year. On track means if I kept doing that day in, day out, I'd make $150K in a year. But what a lot of people didn't know was that the time, effort, resources, but more importantly, I like to call this the churn rate. And the churn rate is when people come onto your program and 3 to 4 weeks later, they leave your program because, number one, they've lost motivation. Number two, they just want out because they just don't want to be committed anymore. Number three, they don't see the value in. Number four, they feel as though, they just don't want what you have anymore, right? And so we had a high churn rate. And that's not because I wasn't doing everything right. Maybe it was, but maybe it wasn't as well. I beg to digress because initially at the time, as a personal trainer, as a fitness coach, I thought giving them diet, giving them training, supporting and emailing their questions would suffice. What I realized was that it did not suffice. This did not suffice. Not only was I in this hamster wheel, right? Not only was I out trying my very best to enjoy the process of tanning and making sales calls, right? But I had to deal with the fact that 3 to 4 weeks later, this $80 a week member client would drop off. And so it was kind of like, what am I doing? And I did that. I think I did that for 6 months. And the reasons why I did that is because it allowed me to stay afloat. I wasn't drowning, but I wasn't thriving either. I wasn't swimming. I was definitely no, Michael Phelps in the game. I was literally keeping my head above water and I didn't know what to do. It's like when you're chucked in the deep ocean, right? you're paddling for dear life and all you can see is your head above the water, but you don't know what to do. Because like, if you stop, you're going to drown, but you don't know what else you can do. And so inside of that state, I think I went on this road for about 6 months, and then I hired, for me, completely burnt out from hiring the wrong coach. I'm going, you know what? This coaching thing sucks. All these coaches, they just tell me the same shit over and over again. And you have to think about this as well. Your prospects are thinking that of you. You know what? So many fitness coaches are like the same. They give you the same shit over and over again. That's what they're thinking, right? Whatever you're thinking, that thought isn't an original thought. It's been already thought thousands of times before. And so what I needed to understand conceptually was, how do I build a business? Right, number one, how do I build a business where I can get myself out of my business? Okay? Like, how do you build a business that you can step away from your business without compromising results? And to me, it almost seemed impossible because I was in the gym and I left the gym and I did the same shit I did in the gym outside of the gym. That is, I delivered one-to-one coaching services online. That meant that if I was to ever grow and scale my business, I'd have 50 clients. And right now I didn't know how to get any clients because I was cold calling people all day. So whilst I was on this hamster wheel, I had another issue because I had this churn rate where, I poured water in to my and basically water would come out. I had a leaking bucket. But also I was on this hamster wheel and it was only me. And so as you can imagine, right, I look back and I'm like, holy crap, how did I even do that for 6 months? I look back and I'm like, holy crap. No wonder why I burnt out. No wonder why my relationship was in tatters. No wonder why when I went to Bali with Kerry, we were on the verge of breaking up and I just couldn't enjoy myself. Goddamn, I was in Bali. Who doesn't enjoy themselves in Bali, right? Instead, I was worried financially because I was just swimming and barely I wasn't even swimming, I was floating, right? When you're floating and someone tells you to relax, you're like, God damn, how can you relax? And so I digress. The reasons why I'm doing this podcast show, the Success Series, is to really help you build a business where people actually chase you, okay? And it all starts with the quality of your questions. If you don't ask the right questions, you're not going to get the right answers. The question I kept asking myself was, Lynn, how do I make money? How do I get leads? And whilst that was a good question, what I answered my own question with run an ad, put out a form, get people to fill it in, and cold call for your dear life. Now, cold calling is the ability to pick up a phone and call a prospect who has not been sold on your products or services. Okay? They have not been sold. Then the whole point of marketing, this is the whole point of marketing. Marketing is a very, very unique skill set that you need to take. And there are so many so-called marketers out there that would make you believe that marketing is just generating you cold leads. Now, I do not want marketing to generate us cold leads anymore. I'm over that bridge. In fact, all of my clients, I'm trying to tell them the way. I'm trying to go, okay, understand your marketing, get them warm and get them into your funnel, and then ultimately, right, deliver so much value that they come. And we use this concept called the conveyor belt method. And the conveyor belt method, literally, if you think about a conveyor belt, at the airport, I came up with this funny name, right? At the airport, I was like, all right, I've got 2 bags and I don't want to carry anymore. Like, I can't carry these bags. And I saw my bag come out, right? And naturally, when you see your bag come out, you want to go chase it. Now, I had 2 heavy bags and I was like, holy shit, I'm not actually going to be able to grab it. I'm just going to wait, 45 seconds for the bag to come to me. And I thought, wow, what a concept, to wait for the bag to come to you, and I thought about it because it's a great metaphor. In business, so many times, so many people, the majority of people going out there chasing. We have this urge, right? And I'm like, well, what if we could build a business so good? What if we could get clients results so well? How would I have to architect a business where people actually come and chase me? Like, that bag was coming to me. I didn't want to go to it. I couldn't. And that's why I didn't. And then that's when I had my big epiphany. And so we employ this thing called the conveyor belt method because what we understand is that our marketing should inflict stories, should get our prospects to already sell themselves before they come to us. And that's what I want you to think about today. I really want you to think about the quality of the questions you ask when you're launching a marketing campaign, when you're putting out content. Does it create trust? Does it get your clients to sell themselves? Are you in front? Here's the reality. The reality is every man and his dog and every woman and her dog can jump in and start a business right now. That's fantastic, right? That is amazing because what Mark Zuckerberg has created, he has created the platform to jump in and voice your message and start a business out of nowhere. It's phenomenal. The problem with this is that every single person can do it. So you get the rise, right? So you get a massive rise of all of these coaches jumping online, and you and I sit down there and we're like, holy shit, how the fuck are we supposed to stand out? How are we supposed to stand out? But here's the big kicker. If you dig a little bit deeper, what you'll start to realize is very few have the resilience, knowledge, resources, and the expertise to grow it. Okay, very, very few. And so what tends to happen is that as the sea rises, right, I like to call that the cream of the crop rise. Very few people, because here's the reality with social media, the biggest barrier and the biggest problem we have as a collective community and society is the ability to follow through because there are so many distractions. And my Lord, if you are listening to 100 different podcasts, can I suggest that you get rid of them all? In fact, if you are not finding value out of this podcast, I'd suggest that you get rid of this one, right? Right now, if you really want to succeed, then you have to be an implementer. You have to take a pathway and you cannot get distracted. You have to have structure. You have to have routine. And that's totally for a different podcast, a part of the success series, right? But I want you to understand today, and I want you to think about your marketing. When you're putting out your marketing out there, if you're launched an advertising, if you're bringing out a video, does your marketing, any piece of content that you put out, does your marketing cause a response and cause greater desire inside of your prospects for your product or service? Does your marketing cause greater desire for your products or services? And if it doesn't, the question is then how do I do this? The question simply becomes around the quality of the questions you're going to ask yourself. And that's the question. Today you're going to ask yourself, how can I create greater desire for my products and services when I release content? Okay, and once you answer this question, you'll begin the journey to start figuring it out. And what I need you to understand, guys, is if you're listening to this podcast, you're like, holy crap, Lynn, I'm just starting out. You have to understand, 2.5 years ago, I was in a gym. I was a personal trainer. I was trading clients and I was earning $50 an hour every third hour, right? So I want you to understand where I've come from. And I want you to understand that the road to success can be fast, but you need to immerse yourself in it. You cannot be lazy, right? You cannot think that this is going to be easy. It's simple, really, really simple, but it requires you rocking up every single day, right? With that being said, look forward to seeing you on the next podcast episode.
Alright, if you enjoyed this podcast, please leave me a 5-star review on iTunes and feel free to leave a review, and that way I can respond and I can take that on board in developing content to serve you. Now, if you're not a part of the Online Trainers Club on Facebook, please do yourself a favor and be a part of the conversation. That's where I add daily tips, tricks and strategies on how you can build out funnels, how you can get more clients and ultimately become a better online coach. Thank you for listening.